that shouldn't move. I might try to put a little bit more tension in this bottom strap just to make sure that this holds tight, but it's also leaning against this piece of walled roofing, so it shouldn't pull to the side either. You know, it really shouldn't move, bar this front layer of freight moving around. What's up, guys? Zero That Trucker here, back with another video. It is a Wednesday. I am waiting to get loaded here in Oswego, New York. I'm actually planning on being on the road for the next 3 weeks. Want to hang out, make a little bit of extra money, potentially a lot of extra money, depending on how all this goes. The week is off to a really good start. Actually, let me look here and see. I can give you guys some numbers as to what I've been pulling so far. The load that I had picked up on Friday, which was my Monday morning delivery, with me being out on the road now, I don't have to be concerned with my fleet manager trying to route me back home to get home Friday, so they can pretty much send you wherever the money is, assuming that you have the hours on your clock for it, and that's been the case so far. Yesterday's load was really lucrative. It was really lucrative because it was actually a hazmat load. That was a good one. That was a good one. I only had to drive for 5 hours once I picked that one up. Let me see, where did that go? Because that was the load that I had delivered this morning. And yeah, picked it up in Pennsylvania, delivered here in New York, and after all things were considered, it was like 285 loaded miles and 29 bounce miles. So that was 349 miles total dispatched. That's the benefit of having your hazmat endorsements. You know, you can get stuff like that from time to time. I've actually only had a couple of hazmat loads since I've been with the company. I have a video on my first one, and I think I'll probably end up making a video for that one that I did yesterday, or I'll make one that you guys can watch, actually. So check that out when you get it, when it comes up and I pop it up. So as far as me getting loaded at this place, it's later in the afternoon, later in the day than I care to get loaded. This morning, that hazmat load that I had delivered got unloaded around 7:30, but I didn't get dispatched until roughly 9 or 9:30, because I'm in the Eastern time zone. My fleet manager is in the Central time zone, so he's going to be an hour behind in the morning, so I won't necessarily get dispatched quickly early in the AM because he won't be in. Like I said, I got empty around 7:30. It was 6:30 AM for him. He probably wasn't even in the office yet, so there's the lag with that. And then, you know, they got to get themselves situated, and the load planner has to get their stuff together as well, and then they all have to come together and send something for me to go pick up. So that was just a little bit of a drag. And then on top of that, I had a 3-hour drive to get out here from where I was in, I think it was Colony, New York. So I had to drive 3 hours north to get up here. And then on top of that, I've been sitting here for a little bit over an hour, probably close to an hour and a half at this point. And it is about 3:40, and this load is going to Anderson, Indiana, and that is 10.5 hours from where I am. So we're definitely not getting there today. I mean, for one, that's a crazy long drive. Two is, like, you know, I don't have enough hours on my clock to do that, and I would be driving extremely late, or I guess technically early into the morning, possibly, to go get that done, seeing as how I'm not even getting loaded yet. So I still have to wait for my turn to get called up there and get loaded, then the securement time, tarp time, and then driving out of here. So that's a lot. I'm not gonna, you know, grind myself into the dirt to do that. That's pretty far. I have about 8 hours on my clock, a little bit less than 8 hours, but I'm pretty certain that I'm not gonna push myself to drive that long tonight. I don't think there's any reason to. The place that I'm delivering to tomorrow, they actually received 24/5, and by that 24 hours a day is what I mean, and 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday. And so I'll get unloaded for sure tomorrow, but it's just what time will I get unloaded. The later in the day that I end up getting unloaded, the less likely I am to get a high paying load after that, because the higher paying loads will be picked over in most cases the later into the afternoon you wait to get something. So we'll see how it goes. But my goal for these 3 weeks while I'm out here, guys, is to pick up at minimum 4-digit to the truck paying load every day. And that means I need to get a load that pays $1,000 or more every day that I'm out here. And so far, that's been the case. I just gave you the numbers from the loads that I've had for this week so far, and I'm satisfied with that. I mean, I've had loads that have paid more than that, and I've had loads that have paid less. So it's all just luck of the draw. Well, not all of it. It's partially luck of the draw. You know where you are, if you're in the right place at the right time. Do you have the right amount of hours available? And are you a reliable driver that they can trust to pick up some high-paying stuff and get it taken care of without any mess-ups? We'll get it done. I think, if I can think of it, the highest paying load that I've had with this company was a little bit over 7K. And that was great. That was fantastic. That was a load that went all the way to California. Actually, the story behind that one is I was in New York, oddly enough, just as I am now. Not in the same place. I was in upstate New York, upstate northeast New York. I think just about as far up as I can go without getting into the Canadian border. And I don't remember the exact city, but I picked up some walled roofing, the rolls, the really thick rolls that stand up, not the kind that are laying down like carpet rolls, but the kind that are standing up like rolls of toilet paper in a package, you know, if you can envision that in your mind's eye. And yeah, that went all the way to Tracy, California. It took me 4.5 days, but it paid for sure very, very well. And it was a great trip. It was a great trip. You know, seeing the geography and the topography of the country change as you go from the east, the Midwest, going through the mountainous regions, and then, you know, getting to California, it was great. You know, the trip out there and the trip back. And that was a lot of fun. It went very well. I would definitely do something like that again. I need to see if I can get with my fleet manager and then get some more freight that pays that way. You know, I definitely approve. For right now, all we can do is sit and wait. We finally made it inside of the loading bay. We got called in probably 20 or 30 minutes ago, I think. Maybe more. Probably more. But it's 5:50 right now. And we've been here since, what was I saying, like 1:45 or something like that. So I'm not thrilled. Not thrilled about this one. I mean, the pay is all right, but it's throwing off my scheduling. You know, I was anticipating being on the road, already secured and on my way to Indiana by now, but that's trucking. You will encounter delays, whether that's a delay at the shipper, like I'm going through right now, a traffic jam, a breakdown, or any other thing that can stop you or slow you down from getting from point A to point B. All I can do is push through it, and make the most out of it. Rather. But we're getting 2 coils. I found out 2 steel coils. Not 100% sure if I'm gonna go through recording myself securing this one, guys, just because I'm already so far behind from having to wait here, being detained, which I will be putting in for my detainment pay. Best believe that because of this. It's I believe anything 2 hours or more, but I think you know, you check in with the detainment specialist at the company, you know, if you've been sitting for an hour and a half, and let them know that you're not moving, and they'll do what they need to do to try to get you going, or at least put you on the board for detainment pay, so long as that particular shipper or consignee pays it. That's the caveat, you know. Not all of these guys pay detainment pay when they hold you, unfortunately, but I do believe that this one does, because I was prompted to keep track of my time while I'm here, so that's a positive sign that they do pay detainment. Otherwise, I think they would probably let me know right away if they did not pay. But we're getting 2 coils. They're going to be loaded shotgun style. They're about 23,000 pounds each, 55 inches long, which that matters for the spacing when I put my coil racks under it. You're supposed to have a minimum of 2 coil racks, and an additional coil rack for each 10,000 pounds more of weight. Now these coils weigh 2,300 pounds, or I'm sorry, 23,000 pounds, like I said, but that 3,000 pounds, you just round that up. So 23,000, you might as well say it's 30,000. So you can't put a partial coil or a piece of a coil on a load. So I'm gonna put 3 coil racks under this. Well, I already have, I set it up, but I'm not sure if they allow you to record at this place. I haven't seen any signs out here that explicitly say you cannot record. So I might get you guys just a quick view of my setup. But like I said, with me being so far behind in time, I'm probably not gonna take my time and film myself doing all of this, you know, getting all the different angles for you guys, and taking my little slow motion snapshots and showing you guys the ins and outs of this one. Not this particular time, because like I said, I got a 10.5 hour drive ahead of me, guys, and I really want to get myself down the road as soon as I'm able to. So I'm gonna secure this as quickly as I safely can while still being thorough, and I'm gonna get myself out of here as soon as I can, because the way that this is looking, the way that this is gone, I'm probably not going to get on the road until 7 o'clock. You know, that's being optimistic, because this place is just slow today. It's just being slow. I've been here a couple of times in the past, and I don't think they were too much faster those other times, but there weren't as many people waiting to be loaded as there are here today. I mean, you can see guy there, and with that little bit of glare, but there's a bunch of trucks out that way waiting for their opportunity to get in here. So that's just the way it is sometimes, guys. Like I've mentioned in my previous videos, I want to show you guys the reality of trucking. You know, every delivery or pickup is not going to be you know, sunshine and rainbows with everything going exactly how you want it to. Sometimes you'll have something like this that's annoying, having a long delay, you know, and having a late start to your day through no fault of your own, and sometimes it just happens. You just gotta persevere and go through it. Like I say, you know, the majority of my deliveries and pickups, I don't encounter these issues, but when they do happen, you know, it sticks out in your mind just because it sucks so much. But the majority of the time, you know, it's smooth sailing. You know, I pick up and get on the road and move quickly how I need to and get things done without having a whole lot of lag time. But let me see if I can quickly show you guys my setup. I'm gonna show it to you guys from a distance. I don't want to walk around out there too much, just because things are kind of tight out there, and there's a lot of noise, so it might not transfer as well. But let's see if we can get a quick shot. All right, guys, we got this set up, and one thing you want to do when you're staging yourself for, you know, some of these plants, when you're able to, you want to go ahead and set up all the equipment that you can while you're waiting. As you see, I got all of my chains and chain binders straps that I'm planning on using for the load. I got my tarps out as well. Both my standard steel tarp and then my padded tarps that I'm going to use. And the coil racks, they're loaded shotgun style, so that means the eye of the coil is going to be facing the tractor, you know, so you can see just like you're looking down the barrel. And my 3 coil racks with coil mats on top of them. The coil mats will keep the coil from moving around on the racks. And since I'm getting 2 coils, I wanted to go ahead and split the difference on the trailer. This little welded piece right here lets me know that this is the center of the trailer. So I put 1 coil rack in front of this welded piece, and I put another coil rack or another set of coil racks behind it so that the weights would be evenly distributed. So in theory, or not in theory, but in practice, you want to make sure that each of your coil racks is actually underneath the coil. Otherwise, there's nothing to support that coil on those wood beams. You know, you don't want your coil racks to be in front of the coil or behind it. You want them to all be directly underneath it, but evenly spread apart. And let's see, I got my dunnage back there, if you can see that. My spare piece of dunnage for the back, and then a spare piece of dunnage in the front slip here, so I can tent tarp the load, make sure no moisture gets onto it. Coils back there, they're wrapped in plastic already to give them extra protection. The only thing that I forgot to pull out, now that I'm thinking about it, I forgot to pull out metal edge protectors that I'm going to need for this, but I'll definitely get to that before I start tightening those chains. But all we can do is sit and wait right now. There's no telling how long I'm going to be sitting here waiting for this freight to be loaded on the trailer. So I'm going to go get comfortable. All right, guys, it is 6:46 p.m. right now, and we're still waiting to be loaded. I have no idea what the holdup is. I mean, I don't know if it's a shift change or they got some kind of problems out here. I mean, if it were a shift change, it's taking a really long time, you know, for the new guys to get in here, but I don't think it's that, unless they're just that slow here. I really don't know. But yeah, there's no movement in sight. Everything is very still at this place. I'll update you guys once we actually have some traction, and who knows when we'll actually get on the road towards Indiana with this 10.5-hour drive we got ahead of us. As you can see, it's full-on nighttime now, but we got loaded. It was about 7:10 when they actually put the first piece on. And the real joke about all that is it was only 2 pieces, and they were done within 10 minutes of loading me. It took a little bit longer than 2 minutes or 10 minutes to finish securing everything, but I did not record any of that just because I was so irritated by the amount of time that I had to sit here. So I wanted to hurry up and get it secured, but I have the tarp on it right now, so you guys can't really even see anything. Can't see anything, but I'll give you guys a quick look of the tarp. But here it is, all tarped up and ready to go. Like I said, I didn't record any of the actual securement process. I'll save that for another video when I have some coils like this. But I'll tell you what I did verbally. It was 2 coils, like I said, 23,000 pounds each. I put X chains, or yeah, X chains, like an X going through, or 1 chain going through the eye, facing one direction diagonally, and another chain going the opposite direction to form an X inside the eye of the coil. And then I did a chain, a U chain, from left through the coil back to the left on the other side, and I did the same thing on the right side. Did that to both coils, and then I threw 2 straps over top of each of the 2 coils. You can't really see, it looks like one piece, but there's 2 coils here, one here, one here. So threw a strap, 2 straps over each of the coils to pin it down. Really simple. But like I said, guys, just because of how today was going, I did not record any of that. But trust me, it's done. It's done properly as well. So now my goal, or my plan, is to figure out how late I'm gonna drive. It's almost 9:30 and I have 10 hours to go. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this, if I want to try to drive into the night, or if I want to just drive a few hours, call it quits, get up in the morning and just, you know, finish the route and get this stuff knocked off and start anew on Thursday, because I'm not going to have many hours on my clock when I get done with this tomorrow. I'm going to think about it a little bit, maybe call night dispatch, maybe, and see what the best way to go about this would be. But I'm pretty certain that I'm not going to drive very far tonight, just because of how all this is going. And I don't feel tired now, but I might start getting a little fatigued once I get settled in on the road. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, it's the next morning. I ended up driving for a few hours last night. I stopped a little bit after 12:30. So my clock recently refreshed, 10:30-ish. Got with my fleet manager and let him know the situation. Actually, last night, sent him a message so he'd see it first thing in the morning when he got in. And everything's all good, still with the delivery. I'm not gonna get there early, needless to say. I'm still 8 hours away, but just my appointment time got pushed back. And fortunately, as I mentioned earlier in the video, guys, this place receives 24 hours a day during the week. So my appointment now was set for 9:30 p.m. And actually, if I left right now, which my clock has already started, if I left right now and made a beeline for that place, it says I would get there at 7:30. That's not accounting for the 30-minute break that I'm gonna need to take before I get there. So that's still fine. And what I'm gonna do, since I got a little bit of spare time, or what I'm planning on doing, is getting the truck washed along my way. Assuming that the line at the truck wash is not long, you know, I'll stop there, get the truck washed, be back out on the road, and be able to make it there before that 9:30 appointment, because I believe the truck wash that I'm planning to go to is about 3 hours from where the delivery point is. So that should all work out just fine. And as I've mentioned before, guys, you want to do the best that you can with what you have available to you. So we had that hiccup yesterday that was out of our control, that shipper taking a long time to get us loaded. We're going to try to turn some lemons into lemonade by maximizing our time getting the truck washed, because we're on the list. This is our second week, so we need to get it washed. I'm going to get it washed on the way there. I'll get some fuel, because there's actually a pilot right across the street from the truck wash that I'm going to go to. So I'll be able to knock that out. Take a little bit of a break. I'm going to see if the truck wash takes longer than 30 minutes. I would be okay with that, because that will be my 30-minute break as well, and I will get the rest of my time back on my clock, because the truck wash is about 5 hours from where I am. So that'll put that last 3 back on me, and I can go ahead and drive the rest of the route, get the load delivered, and I'll probably have a preload, or not a preload, but a pre-plan waiting for me that I can either head towards and pick up today or tonight, or just drive in the direction of the pre-plan and pick it up tomorrow morning, which I'm okay with either one of those. Let's hope that it'll be within that 4-digit pay to the truck quota that I put on myself. So hopefully this pre-plan will pay $1,000 or more. We'll see. I've never actually had to go out for something this late, so we'll see how it goes. Usually my stuff is morning or afternoon pickups, so we will see what we have waiting for us. But without further ado, guys, let's get back on the road and get this load off the trailer. Just got the truck washed, guys. It was great because as you can see, there is not a soul in sight. I pulled right in, got the truck washed in less than 15 minutes. And that is what you want every time if you can help it. It's I think I pulled in here around 4:45 p.m. and like I said, there was nobody here, nobody. And the truck is looking fresh once again, super shiny. You can see your reflection in it. So I'm good for another couple of weeks before I'll need to have a mandatory wash. And I'm just waiting for my 30-minute break to be over, so I'll get the rest of my time back. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna actually drive across the street, like literally across the street from where I am at this truck wash, and I'm gonna go ahead and fuel up at the Pilot next door, and then we will be back on the road to drive the final 3 hours and get rid of those coils so we can see what else we're going to be dealing with for the end of the day as far as picking something new up. The pre-plan for that yet, so how much that's going to pay is to be determined. I've got high hopes because I have a goal for this week here. I want to try to make up for the lost time from yesterday, so we'll see what we get into. All right guys, we got those 2 coils unloaded. I actually wasn't able to record any of that process just because I was busy, you know, putting all my securement away, and things were just crazy hectic. We ended up getting there at 8:45 p.m. which is fine, which is before the 9:30 appointment time. But like I said, they were running 24 hours a day, so they were ready for me. Or not really, actually, they weren't ready for me when I got there. They were doing other stuff. This was like a big factory, so they had like coils like I had loaded on the trailer. They had coils all over the place, so they're loading their own trucks, getting their trucks prepared for tomorrow morning for their personal deliveries. So they were doing that, and then they came around and worked on unloading me. So I was just getting myself set up, trying to figure out what I was going to do, because they did not have any on-site parking. I mean, realistically, I didn't want to have to get up and drive to go find a place to park if I could help it, but I couldn't stay parked there for the night. You know, they had a big old sign that said no overnight parking, so I had to try to find a spot, which was pretty difficult for that part of Indiana where I was. Between there and where I'm supposed to be heading for my preload, or I'm sorry, not preload, I keep saying that, but pre-plan for tomorrow. It was like there was a few parking places, a few truck stops, but they all had less than 100 parking spaces in it. And when it's like that, at least in my experience, if you don't get there early enough in the day, like if you don't get there like early, late afternoon, like around 5, or like early evening, like, you know, no later than 7, you know, most of those parking spaces, if not all of them, are going to be filled up in most places, unless you're like out in the middle of nowhere, you know. But I passed up 3 separate truck stops. Well, not really passed them up, I drove into them to see. And before I do any other stuff, part of my trip plan, I always check the app, or one of the apps that I use, Trucker Path, to see the availability of the truck stops that are along my route. And it was saying that all of them were full already, but I had no other alternatives but to just drive that way and you know, test my luck. But yeah, there was no spaces at any of those, and I got to one place here at the very end, the last truck stop. It was a Petro, the last truck stop before there was going to be nothing else until I actually got to the next shipper here. And I had 35 minutes left on my clock when I got here, and I was able to make out a parking space for myself. You know, sometimes you got to do that. You know, find somewhere that's in the lot that is not in the way. You won't be blocking any other drivers from, you know, moving in or out of the truck stop, and you're not going to put yourself in a position where somebody's going to, you know, clip you with their trailer or something when they're trying to drive past you. Luckily for me, you know, because it's late now. It's late because I didn't end up getting unloaded at the previous consignee until, what was it? It was like around 10. It was around 10, and I drove for 2 hours, actually. Yeah, I drove for 2 hours trying to get to where I was. Not because I wanted to, definitely not because I wanted to, but just because, like I said, that was the necessity, since there were no other available parking spaces earlier. I had it originally set in my mind to only drive for 30 minutes and get to the very first truck stop that would have been along my route, but you know, that's what happens sometimes when you're looking for a parking space so late in the evening. What time is it now? It's about 1:30 right now. I mean, I've been parked here for probably about 20 or 30 minutes, so much later than I care to be driving. But we'll be sitting here until our 10-hour refresh is taken care of, and then we'll go ahead and drive that last bit of time to go pick up this preload here at the next place. It actually is a preload, so it's a pre-plan. The load's already picked out for me, and it will be a preloaded trailer that I'm gonna go get. So we'll get that knocked out, man, and we'll see what else we can get into, because we are still on our 3-week journey to make some money out here. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend and seeing where I'll be, you know, what I'll do for my my 34-hour reset. See if there's any nice restaurants or anything like that around, anything interesting to get into other than just sitting in the truck waiting for the time to refresh on our 70. We'll see what's happening tomorrow morning.